How will ASU football's new interim head coach handle the tough road ahead?
How did Iman Asanovic and the ASU volleyball team fare against their rivals down south?
And what's new with ASU softball as the maroon and gold scrimmage took place just last night? All of your questions answered on Cronkite Sports Live.
Hello and welcome into Studio 6 for another edition of Cronkite Sports Live. I'm Sammy Miller alongside Matt Venezia, and boy, do we have some news for you today.
Yes, Sammy, if you haven't heard, Herm Edwards is out following the humiliating loss a week ago. Ray Anderson said it was a mutual decision to have his duties relinquished. The reactions around the news, though, seemed like it was the right move. I agree, the NFL model didn't work at all here with ASU, but to move on this early into the season, I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean, I'm all in on this guy, Sean Aguano. However, as this is all happening, though, reports have been released saying that ASU coaches within the program were leaking info to opponents to induce the parting of ways with Herm Edwards. To fill you in on that, here's Ethan Tuttle. Plenty of good-looking resumes to consider. Thank you, Peyton, for keeping us all in the loop with that. And now that we know who's replacing Herm Edwards in Tempe this Saturday, we can actually start talking about the matchup. And to do so, we welcome Jonah Krell to the desk. Jonah, I first wanted to start with the reactions to the Sean Aguano promotion have been positive, but still things look pretty bleak for ASU over the next few weeks. So what needs to happen for the Sun Devils to finally turn this thing around and right the ship? And it seems like obviously the Sun Devils have to play a lot better, but Saturday's matchup, the well-documented 13th ranked Utah Utes meet ASU in the first conference game of the season. What makes Utah so dangerous in this matchup and so far throughout the season? Now, with all those challenges that you've spoken about, there seems to be, no way that the Sun Devils come into this as a favorite because they're not. They're the 15.5-point underdog. Is there any possible scenario that ASU leaves Tempe on Saturday with a win? And there's been a lot. So thank you, Jonah, for all of that. All eyes will be on Sean Aguano and the Sun Devils Saturday night at 7:30 in Tempe. Pac-12 play opens this weekend, and it doesn't get any easier for the Sun Devils down the stretch. I mean, yikes. 3 ranked opponents to begin the Aguano era. Not easy by any means. USC is a national champion favorite, and Washington just upset then number 11 Michigan State a week ago. I mean, this thing could get ugly very quickly for ASU if they're not careful. Nicole Douglas simply can't stop scoring. Same with ASU volleyball. Iman Asanovic, she was the star of Wednesday night's opening match of Pac-12 play as the Devils took a trip 2 hours south to the Dirty T for a date with the Wildcats. Roberta Rebello, Levinska, all the ladies are fired up, so let's take you out to the McHale Center for the opening set of highlights here in this heavily matchup here in the McHale Center. So we'll take you out to the first set. Snyder diving out, same with Claudia Stolke. This thing's going to pinball around a little bit. A couple diving plays left and right. But here's where it gets interesting. Watch this play here by Jelly Sear. She's going to get it up to no one else but Iman Asanovic. Not many athletes in the country can do that off their back foot. A nice line shot there for the kill. But Ziana Flows there in the middle. She makes a play for Arizona, and the Wildcats would end up taking that first set against ASU. The Sun Devils, though, they weren't fazed. Why? Because they have Marta Levinska, the Latvia native there. She had 17 kills on the match. Here's another one, though. On the overpass that was dug out, Marta does capitalize. Why would she not? She's been fantastic all year long, and this was the final kill of the match. It's the sophomore Jelly Sear stepping into that one. The Sun Devils down against the rivals. The Cats go down in Tucson. So a good start there, obviously, in the conference for ASU as they went down to Tucson. And a few days ago now, they got that win. They're going to Boulder on Sunday to see the Buffs, a team ASU took down twice in as many appearances a season ago. And Andrew Lynn gets us ready for the match. Thank you, Andrew, for all that info. Yeah, we're going to talk about those road matchups right now because forever ago, it seems like, the Sun Devils went 2-1 in the Webb Burbridge Classic out there in Tempe. From there, ASU hopped on a plane to Atlanta to play in the Georgia Tech Invitational, where the Sun Devils started hot, but the real test was too much, in which ASU fell to the then number 5 Yellow Jackets over the weekend. We saw Iman Asanovic climb up the list for ASU in total kills in program history, now at number 16. Next, ASU traveled to a much closer state and visited Waco, Texas to compete in the Baylor Invitational. The Evansville match was the only one ASU got a win in, where they racked up 13 aces, fourth most for the Sun Devils in a single match, and the Devils are now 2-2 in ranked matchups. You thought one trip to the Lone Star State was enough? Well, the Red Raider Classic was enticing enough for 2 trips to Texas. The Sun Devils were reverse swept by SMU, and their lone win was against Oral Roberts. ASU is now 2-2 in 5-set matches, and the trip didn't end there. The Sun Devils took down the Wildcats in Tucson, which we just talked about, and a trip to Boulder awaits them on Sunday. But then the Oregon schools, one last road trip for ASU before they're finally home at the beginning of October, the 7th and 9th, to see the LA schools. Good info there with ASU softball, a group that has plenty of question marks entering this season despite hosting a super regional at the end of May a few months back. Same equipment, bigger diamond. Major League Baseball is well represented in Arizona, with the local Diamondbacks playing just a few blocks down the road from here. The MLB is also significant here because of the Arizona Fall League. Anthony Remedios explains more and mentions a handful of former Sun Devils who will be taking the field this year. National championships seem to be the takeaway from that, and while it may take some time for Sun Devil hockey to hang up banners in the rafters of Mullet Arena, the venue itself is looking like it's ready to do so. A few weeks back, we had a chance to take a peek at the new home for hockey, gymnastics, and wrestling, and simply, I'm just blown away. Now, to get you caught up to speed with what's going on today, Let There Be Ice. This image was released just a few days ago, and as you can see, the Coyotes are getting some love too. With the half Kachina, half Pitchfork logo at center ice, the Sun Devils, though, game day can't come soon enough. Don't miss ASU hockey's first contest in this new era for the program when Colgate and Arizona State drop the puck on October 14th. Tough there for the Sun Devils with what's going on, but not for these players here in the top plays. Cologne is going to get it outside the 18-yard box to Van Dersen, who picks the corner perfectly. Her second goal of the year. The Sun Devils rolled. We'll see a little bit more on this matchup in just a second. We teased this play earlier with volleyball. We're bringing it back for the #1 play at the McHale Center on Wednesday night. Ella Snyder and Claudia Stolke, I just don't know how, with all that flexibility, able to keep that ball off the ground. And then Annika Larson-Numer gets hit up high, but here's where it happens most. So Fellow gets it over the net, and then it now comes up for Asanovic, who puts it down the line. ASU with a 4-set win there. And that's all we have for you here in Studio 6 at Cronkite. We want to thank everyone who has helped put this thing together in the control room, the talent, the studio. It's been a lot of fun here on this Friday afternoon here in Phoenix. But for everyone, again, this is Sammy Miller. I'm Matt Venezia. We say so long, and we'll see you next week for another episode of Cronkite Sports Live.